Hello, welcome back. I'm Juliana and today we're going to be making chocolate salami. This is a great recipe for kids because it's pretty easy and it doesn't require an oven or anything. You just refrigerate it. So let's get started. Okay, so our first step when making chocolate salami is smashing the tea biscuits, which is kind of the main part of it. So you could use any kind of tea biscuit as long as they're like plain vanilla. I'm using this brand, so yeah. And you need 14 ounces, which is like a full pack. Another thing, you don't just have to have tea biscuits inside your chocolate salami. You could have all sorts of things like pistachio, walnuts, and stuff like that, but I'm just going to keep it simple. Okay, so I have all my biscuits here, and you're just going to get a Ziploc bag, and you're going to empty all of them into the bag. And we're going to smash them. You could also do this using like a food processor. I just like the bag because I can control the size of my pieces, so yeah. Okay, so these are all my biscuits, and now using a rolling pin I'm going to smash all of them. You could also use like a mallet, or not a mallet, you know what I mean, like a meat tenderizer. So you want to make sure all the air is out of your bag before you start smashing it, or else that's gonna cause issues. And I just spread it out on the table, and make sure your bag is closed all the way. And then using my rolling pin, I'm just gonna start smashing it. And you don't want your pieces to be super fine because you still wanna, like when you eat it, you wanna be able to like bite into it. So I'll show you an example of the size of the pieces that we're looking for. And to get more precise pieces, you can use like the end of the rolling pin. So you can only hit a few of them. Okay, so I crushed up all my biscuits, and this is kind of the size you're looking for. Some of the pieces might still be too big, but I think it's fine. So now all our biscuits are crushed up, and now it's time for the actual chocolate filling part. So we're gonna make what's called a chocolate ganache, and how you make that is you get your chocolate chips and then you heat up milk and pour it over the chocolate chips. So I have the recipe calls for 2 cups of chocolate chips. It can be semi-sweet or milk chocolate, whatever you want. And then we also are going to use 1 cup of milk or heavy cream. And we're going to pour that over the chocolate chips. I like to warm it up in the microwave because I think it's easier. But you could also warm up the milk separately on the stove top first and then pour it over the chocolate chips. But I just think this method is easier. So what we're going to do, we're going to microwave it in 30-second intervals, and in between each microwaving we're going to stir it until it's all melted into one mixture. So I'm going to microwave it for 30 seconds and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so after you microwaved it, it may not look like much has happened, but once you stir it, you can see that the chocolate did melt. So you just want to stir that up. And then we're going to microwave it again for 30 seconds until it has completely melted. And if you need to microwave it more, you can. Okay, so I microwaved it again, and now I'm just gonna stir it again. And make sure you're using a microwave safe bowl because you don't want anything to set on fire or crack. So yeah. Okay, so now that our chocolate is all nice and melted and smooth, we're going to add a 1/4 cup of butter and just put it in cubes and then let it melt into the chocolate. And it'll just naturally melt because the chocolate is already hot. So yeah. And just stir it in there until it's all combined. Also, if you're using just normal milk for this recipe, you may want to add like a 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup more of chocolate chips because since heavy cream is usually thicker than milk, it's your batter's gonna turn out more liquidy, so I would just add more chocolate chips to counteract that. Okay, so now all our butter has melted in, and it's time to add in our crushed up biscuits. So you're just going to pour that in there. I wouldn't pour all of it in there right now, just in case you crush too much, and so then you can control the consistency. So I'm just going to put in about that much for now and just mix it in. So before your batter was very liquidy, but now with the biscuits it's going to thicken up. And that's what we want because we want to be able to mold this into a log shape. So, yeah. You can also use a spatula or whatever you want. So I think mine needs to be a bit more thicker, so I'm just going to add in the rest. You may have a lot of crumbs, but that's fine because it's just going to thicken your thing more. So. And if you find that your batter is too thick, you can just add in more milk and thin it out. So it's no big deal. Like mine might be a bit on the thick side right now. So I'm going to add in some milk. Alright, so I added in more milk and now I think my consistency is pretty good. You still want it to be kind of runny so it's easy to spread out once we roll it, so yeah. So now that we have our batter, you're going to need either cling wrap or parchment paper. I think cling wrap is easier to work with, so that's what we're going to use. So you're just going to take the cling wrap and put out like that much. Okay, so I have my cling wrap all nice and laid out. And now I'm going to pour my batter going horizontally. So whichever way your cling wrap is like longer, do it that same direction. So just pour some on there, and then you're going to just like put it in a long, like log shape. And you can make it long or short, it's just up to your preference. Alright, so your batter is probably enough to make 2 big logs, so that's what we're gonna do. And then you're just going to take either end and you're going to wrap it into a log shape. And you want to do it as tight as you can, and it might be kind of difficult. If you want, you can get like a second piece of cling wrap and put it around it to be more secure. And you just want to twist the ends so the batter doesn't fall out. And then you're just going to take it and you're going to roll it on your table. Like so. And don't worry if it's too liquidy because you're just going to freeze it. And try to make the edges smooth. Yeah. And then you have a log. And then we're going to do it again with the rest of our batter. Alright, so now we have both of our logs. And just make sure they're really twisted on and secure. And if you want, you can like kind of flatten the edges. And try to evenly disperse the batter throughout. Okay, so now, obviously we don't bake this, so now we're going to refrigerate these for at least 4 hours or until they're firmed. I know that's a long time, but trust me, you want them to be firm or else they're just going to fall apart. If you want, you could also just leave them overnight. Nothing's going to happen to them. So yeah. I'll see you when they're all nice and firm. Alright, so now my logs are nice and firm. I just went ahead and left it overnight because I just think it would be better like that. So now we're going to unroll our logs and you can just gently peel it off. Like so. And now from here you can either finish and just cut them up, or you can dust some powdered sugar on it and that just makes it look more presentable, I guess. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna do it on the saran wrap so it's a bit less messy. So I'm using like this hand sifter, but you can probably use like a spoon or like a really fine strainer. That would probably work. So I'm just going to take it and sift it over the log. And then I'm going to do this on both sides. Okay. And then you want to get yourself a serving plate. It doesn't have to be long, just like any plate. And you're going to get a knife. Now we're just going to cut it up into slices and then put it on the plate. Don't make them too thick. Maybe like that thick is probably good. If you want, before dusting it with powdered sugar, you can try to re-roll it into a more circular shape, but it doesn't really matter. And then I'm just going to layer them like so. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same with my smaller log. Alright, so I cut out all my logs and now we are all done. If you are going to store these, store them in the fridge because they will melt because it's chocolate. So I hope you enjoyed and I'll see you next time. Bye.